Welcome to another episode of Taste and Drink, single site series. This week we are delving into the wines of Meursault and a particular Lieu-dits by the name of Les Pellans. The wine we are drinking is a 2017 Domaine Boisson Charles Meursault Le Vin de 1945. So although it doesn't have Les Pellans on the actual label, it is from entirely within the Lieu-dits of Les Pellans, and as the name suggests, from vines planted in 1945. Now, Meursault is my favourite village in Burgundy. More than likely, you'll stay or come through Beaune, and as you travel further south, you'll go through the town of Pommard and Volnay, both red wine villages, and then you'll come to the village of Meursault, which is the start of the trio of the finest three white wine villages in the world. Meursault, Puligny-Montrachet, Chassagne-Montrachet. Now, historically, Meursault has been known as producing very big and honeyed and buttery and hazelnut wines. Now the reason being is because they're further up on the slope than Puligny-Montrachet and Chassagne-Montrachet, their water table is lower. So they were able to have cool cellars, larger cellars, and they were able to hold their wines back for an additional year. And this gave quite sort of honeyed and rich wines. Now, they were never overly honeyed or buttery naturally. That only came so when people started to really chase that particular flavour for the American market. The reason they did leave it in wood for longer is because the soils are so mineral and produce wines with such drive that they were able to hold it. Now, if you look at if you look at Meursault, the northern end, you've got Premier Cru Leclerc, which Domaine Boisson Charles do a fine example of. Lots of limestone and oolite and quite sort of fair, airy and light and expressive wines. Then the southern end of Meursault, you've got the three Premier Crus which reign king. Perrier is the leading Premier Cru, Geneviève, and then Charme. Now, Charme is further down on the slope and split into two. It's the richest of the three leading Premier Crus, and just below Le Charme is Les Pellans. Now, we've got Perrier there, Geneviève here, Charme here, and Les Pellans there. As the slope goes down, we get less and less limestone, fewer rocks, and more fertile and heavier sort of soils. Now, the way Patrick Esser and Catherine make their wines at Domaine Boisson Charles is very much neither anorexic or overtly acid-driven, or voluptuous and broad. They prefer to pick the fruit when it's perfectly ripe, not to make a statement, and then treat it incredibly delicately. Now what this results in is a wine that, if you have it next to a wine that has a lot of acidity or a wine that has a lot of breadth, it can often disappear. But the beautiful thing is, it just leaves you with this beautiful skeleton. Let's take a sip. The wine is completely transparent. It's fresh yet broad, but purely from the fruit and the soil. They're really quite remarkable wines. Domaine Boisson Charles now is regarded as one of the top producers in Meursault because of this reason. People now know that they need to look at the wines a little bit more intently. Now, if we have a look on the nose, it's got this beautiful iodine, lemon and lime oil, a little bit of orange blossom, some orange oil, sea salt, rock salt. While it's still got plenty of fruit, and you can tell it is, say, broader than, say, his Meursault Leclerc, it's still incredibly fine boned. Now, that's a testament to his touch. Now let's have a look at it on the palate. Again, so fine boned, so pure, and it falls across the tongue, and although it covers your entire tongue and mouth, it's light. It's not just one line of acidity straight down the middle, like a lot of the other Lieu-dits and vineyards within Meursault. it truly speaks of the slightly more fertile soils, but in the most sophisticated way. A lot of people would chase this amount of refinement in Les Pellans and Les Nouveaux, which are other village Lieu-dits higher on the hill, which are known for their utter aggression and fine bone and phenolic structure. Now, I have chosen to pair it with a bit of cuttlefish this week. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of this bottle and the rest of my cuttlefish. And I will see you next week. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.